Never before has mankind faced so many questions, so much anxiety. Sometimes our problems seem so big, the questions so complex, we don't even want to ask. But as we look at all the unsettling changes happening throughout the world, it's hard not to ask. Where is mankind headed?
Just like a human.
I ought to be.
Yeah, it's a satellite.
Is the Earth sending us a wake-up call?
Volcanic eruptions.
Is there objective truth? Does anyone hold the answers to our longing and despair?
Muhammad the Prophet. Arguably the most... Oceans. Reverend Graham.
There is from somewhere within us. Where is that somewhere?
Is this the end of the age?
There's not just one set of morals, and that people should agree to abide by a certain set of laws so that their morals can be modified, but morals can be different. I mean, the law should be just a basic guideline to keep people from killing one another and harming one another.
I think there's more of like a moral awakening where we're starting to question the things that have been handed down to us traditionally, and I think we're just trying to look for like what is right or wrong, and I think a lot of times we're coming to the conclusion that there is no right or wrong.
I don't think there's any more absolute. There's the only real thing I think that maybe should hold true for all people is the golden rule. Just do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. I mean, that's pretty much it. And I really don't think people are very moral at all. There's one Mother Teresa, and there's not much more than that.
Hi, I'm Bill Gallatin, and as we look at the world today, we see a world filled with question. Where are we headed? With all this scientific knowledge and all the immorality, are there moral absolutes? Is there a God? And if there is a God, is he a God of love? Why so much hurt and pain? And if there is a God, how can we know that he actually exists and he's willing to reveal himself to mankind?
In my opinion, I don't think there is an ultimate truth.
Our ultimate truths, I believe, are in ourselves. Everybody has it inside them. It's just a matter of listening to yourself.
I used to believe in God when I was younger. I believed in all the stories. I believed in all the rules and the commandments when I was raised Catholic. But then I began to think about things more philosophically, more in depth, and there were just so many questions that I couldn't answer. So it got to the point where I don't really know if there are any answers, and you can't deny and you can't confirm either.
One of the ways we believe that God has revealed himself to mankind is through the Bible. His revelation, it's so unique from other writings. One of the things that's so exciting about the Bible is prophecy. And the Word of God is 100% accurate concerning prophecy. We would like to show you one example of fulfilled prophecy.
One of the most remarkable prophecies in the entire Bible occurs in the Old Testament in the book of Daniel. The angel Gabriel predicts the precise day that Jesus was to present himself as a king some 5 centuries later. In Daniel chapter 9, verse 25, Gabriel says to Daniel, "Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Mashiach Nagid, the Messiah the King, shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. These are 69 weeks of years, and the ancient calendars use 360-day years. And so what Gabriel is saying is that there will be 173,880 days between the commandment to the Messiah the King. Now, the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem was given on March 14th of 445 BC. This is recorded in Nehemiah chapter 2. The only time that Jesus permitted himself to be presented as a king was on the day we call the triumphal entry, which occurred on April 6th, 32 AD. From March 14th, 445 BC to April 6th, 32 AD turns out to be 173,880 days exactly. All of this was translated into Greek 3 centuries before Christ was born, and it remains as an incredible evidence to this very day that Jesus was exactly who he said he was.
This numeric prophecy is so amazing that skeptics concluded that the book of Daniel must have been written after the time of Christ. But thanks to the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947, we know for certain that Daniel was written several centuries before the time of Jesus. This prophecy is thoroughly documented in Sir Robert Anderson's classic work, The Coming Prince. But we need not look at ancient history to substantiate Bible prophecy, only our evening news.
We believe that we are in the countdown to eternity now. We also believe that you can see Bible prophecy being fulfilled before your very eyes as you watch the evening news every night of the week. World events that are taking place. We also believe that the Bible speaks of these things emphatically. We're going to look at 5 areas in the next hour that speak of these very things. And we'll let you be the judge. Is God trying to warn the world?
When the disciples came to Jesus on the Mount of Olives, and they asked him for signs of the end of the age, he said that there would be earthquakes in various places, there would be famines, and there would be pestilences. Of course, we see that there are major earthquakes that are increasing at an alarming rate in the last few years. Earthquakes of great magnitude. Of course, in the earlier years, people say, well, they've always had earthquakes. True. But we are now seeing an increase in major earthquakes, and thus we need to realize that these earthquakes that are shaking the world are a part of the whole prophetic scheme.
Earthquakes with a magnitude of 8.0 or greater on the Richter scale are classified as great by the USGS. These are enormous quakes, and if we chart the frequency of these great quakes during the last 30 years, we note a significant increase. However, due to the relatively short period of accurate tracking, we are not able to establish conclusive trends, but we can say for certain that this generation is witnessing great earthquakes.
When one looks at a geophysical map of the Earth, it appears like planet Earth is a hard-boiled egg that's been dropped on the floor too many times. There are many different plates called tectonic plates that tend to move one alongside of the other. And it's along these areas of movement, the tectonic plate lines, that a major part of the earthquake activity occurs. And it's also interesting to note that it's along these areas where the majority of the world's populations are located. And when we look to the scriptural account in the future, when the Bible tells us that the cities will fall, it's interesting to note that these major cities are located along these tectonic plate lines.